Welcome to the Turing Test podcast deep dive on GPT-5's new capabilities. Yeah, the headline really asks, can GPT-5 really think, or is it just faking it?
I mean, that's such a juicy question. GPT-5 is making waves with its tighter logic and fewer flubs, isn't it?
Exactly. It's like it's taking a big step forward by showing its work when solving problems, breaking them into sub-steps, reasoning through the problems, sort of like a meticulous test taker. It's not just spitting out answers.
And we've seen examples too, like the train schedule puzzles, where 3 trains and overlapping constraints come into play. GPT-5 catches the hidden conflicts, whereas its predecessors would occasionally miss a beat.
Yeah, and not just puzzles, coding too. Imagine a multi-file bug scenario, where a dependency in one package silently interferes with another. GPT-5 will trace that chain in a very methodical way and even suggest a CI guard to prevent future regressions. It's a noticeable upgrade.
Right, but here's something to chew on. Even though it mimics reasoning, it's still based on pattern matching. So, is that really reasoning or just a really well-trained emulation?
That's the big debate, isn't it? Some folks say it's still only pattern-based, but the receipts, the breakdown of sub-steps, really help. Think of it like a student who not only gives an answer, but also shows all the steps on the board.
Yeah.
It builds trust in the process.
Sure, but isn't there a risk of overfitting to benchmarks? I mean, these tests are getting tougher, but if we're just tweaking for leaderboards, are we really measuring true problem-solving capability?
That's a great point, and one that's under active debate. The idea now is bench triangulation, evaluating on public datasets, fresh private sets, and real-world tasks. For instance, teams report that GPT-5 manages those gotcha questions that tripped GPT-4 way more successfully. It's an interesting shift.
And speaking of real-world tasks, let's talk about reliability. GPT-5 is reportedly better in messy, unpredictable, real data scenarios. What have you seen there?
Definitely, it's more cautious in the wild. Imagine financial operations, where records have mismatched time zones and duplicates. GPT-5 flags anomalies, writes a reconciliation script, and even asks for confirmation on assumptions like which time zone to use. That extra check means fewer dangerous missteps.
And it's the same in healthcare support. It now separates general education from actual medical advice more reliably, highlighting red flag symptoms that need human attention.
Yes, and it's not totally flawless. It still hallucinates at times, but now it's much more likely to say, "I don't know," or give a best guess, accompanied by a justification. That reduces overconfidence on bad outputs.
Now, moving a bit under the hood, what exactly changed to drive these improvements? Is it a bigger model or something else?
It's less about just making it bigger and more about making it think in stages. The training now includes solution traces, and they reward consistent logic through post-training procedures. Think of it like refining a recipe until every step is foolproof. It's a very systematic approach.
That's fascinating. So for example, on a multi-hop task, if you ask it to summarize legal differences, then draft a checklist, then simulate a tax scenario, it does them in a way that carries context forward through each step instead of losing the thread in between.
Exactly. Imagine it breaking the process into law summary, checklist creation based on that summary, and then the tax simulation. It maintains state, and it's like a well-orchestrated effort rather than isolated responses. It's almost like a mini workflow engine.
And on the tool use side, it's even smoother.
Now GPT-5 proposes a plan, executes multi-step actions, and then verifies against constraints all in one go. It compresses the loop significantly.
That makes me wonder though, with these advances, do we risk over-reliance on its reasoning enough that human auditing becomes an afterthought? What if the plan certificates are missing or opaque?
That's a fair challenge, and indeed, transparency is a big caveat here. Some organizations might hide the raw reasoning traces for privacy, while others might expose summaries for explainability. It's all about balancing that trade-off between transparency and data protection. Definitely a governance issue.
And equity of access too. With pro subscribers getting more generous usage, this reasoning power might be available to only a fraction of users. Teams must plan around that.
Right. Ensuring critical workflows don't hit a ceiling mid-project is essential. The value of these enhanced reasoning capabilities becomes a productivity multiplier, and not everyone might get equal access. That could create a different kind of digital divide.
So, wrapping this up, what's the take on whether GPT-5 can really think? I mean, it's still not AGI by any means, but its multi-step reasoning seems like quite a leap forward.
If by thinking, we mean being capable of chaining causes and effects with fewer missteps, then GPT-5 is operating at a higher baseline. It decomposes problems, checks constraints, and more, making many problems feel solvable. Though it's important to note, it doesn't understand in the human sense. It's performing statistical inference that emulates reasoning.
Yeah, and that's practically significant. Teams can transition from micromanaging simple prompts to focusing on auditing the AI's plan and managing the blend of human and AI strengths creates a powerful workflow.
Exactly. It's like having a smart assistant that handles the heavy lifting, generating detailed plans, and then letting you fine-tune the risky parts. The model even emits checklists for data touched, secret access, external calls, and testing passes before shipping a feature, for instance. That's a solid move in risk management.
And the potential is huge. Imagine scaffolding a product spec, generating all API stubs, tests, and even drafting the launch email. It compresses steps that used to require several iterations.
Absolutely, but one has to be cautious about the balance. Improved reasoning doesn't mean we should completely offload judgment. Human oversight remains critical to catch those inevitable edge cases.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Let's run a quick lightning round of practical stress tests listeners might want to try. How about a multi-constraint scheduling challenge?
Sure. Ask it to book a 2-day offsite for 4 teammates across 3 time zones, no Fridays, within 10 days, and with vegetarian lunch options near a train station. It'll be interesting to see if it can juggle all those constraints without snapping, and that really tests its capability.
Then there's code-based archaeology. Identify the minimal change to enable dark mode in a legacy system without breaking theming. A robust output should not only propose a change, but also show a diff, include a rollback, and even reason about dependencies.
Right. And data provenance is another, summarizing quarterly retention by naming exact tables, filters, and date ranges. That sort of precise output would really prove its multi-step, causal reasoning. Spot on.
And for a final challenge, adversarial phrasing. Ask the same question with reversed clauses and see if the logic holds steady. If the reasoning is robust, it should be invariant to superficial wording.
Exactly. That invariance is a key marker of real reasoning. Even if it's statistical in nature, the output should not flip when the phrasing is reversed.
Right.
It's a sanity check on its reliability.
So, to wrap up, GPT-5 really does raise the bar. It's not about achieving AGI, but rather about making usable multi-step reasoning accessible in real workflows.
Yes, it shifts the human role from coaxing the AI to reason, to calibrating and auditing its outputs. The next challenge is embedding these capabilities into safe, well-governed workflows that drive real-world wins. That's the real productivity booster.
And while there are still concerns regarding transparency and equity of access, the improvements are undeniably significant. It's an exciting time for development, coding, analysis, and even research workflows.
Absolutely. Whether we call it thinking or just improved emulation of reasoning, it's a big leap. Teams need to keep adapting their processes and guardrails to fully harness this potential.
Right.
And that's where the future of AI-driven work lies.
Our deep dive on GPT-5. Fascinating, complex, and ripe with possibilities. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share your thoughts and challenges with these stress tests.